welcome to Cattle Training and Shoeing. Today I'm out here with Jonathan and Steve, and we're out in the cow pasture with a whole load of horses. And we brought more than we could ride at one time, so we're going to try 3 while we ride 3. And you know, it's a very important part of my training, I believe, is to get these horses out and to get them tied up. I like to tie them where they can't see the other horses, so that they're, you know, feel a little insecure. Then if they need to go through the weaning process of separation anxiety, this allows them to do that. In case you're wondering about these things that we got on our head here, I did a clinic for some people in Austin here a few months ago, and they had these, and it was very nice because I could speak in a normal tone and they could hear me anywhere we wanted to go. So we've took to riding them, using them on a daily basis, and they're very handy. They're motorcycle communication tools. So, but anyway, we're going to take this horse down. There's a tree down here. I'm going to show you how I tie him up, and you know, a little bit about why I tie him up more. So we'll walk on down here toward this tree. Had the question come to me in just having a horse stalled up as opposed to one time. Just on a turning process, and they'll just walk around. As you can see right here, that I've had horses tied up here before, and they've got the grass just churned up right here. And that's okay. That's what they do. They just walk around, and they use up a lot of energy. And then when they find out that standing quiet, standing still, is the best deal, well, then it's their choice to get quiet. And ultimately, that's what we want, is for a horse to choose to be quiet themselves. So I'm here. This is a pretty stout tree, and it's got a pretty good limb coming off out here, and I'm probably almost 6 foot away from the trunk. I like to be that far away from the trunk and tied to a good limb, one that if they do pull on it, it's not going to break, and but far enough away from that trunk that they can't wrap themselves up on that trunk. And I'll throw this rope up over the limb here, and I would if I hadn't hit the horse. So we'll go the second time here. Sorry, bud. There we go. Okay, so this is just high quality yacht rope. That's my favorite kind of rope. I don't have a particular brand that I use, but I do like the weight and the feel of this yacht rope, and it works really well for me. Now, the length that I tie these horses, this would be almost too long for me right there. You know, it would work, but if he were to put his head down, there's a possibility that he could get his front leg up over that rope. So I'm gonna tie it up here like that. See, I took the slack out of that. He still can stand comfortably. He's not pushing down on the rope at all, but comfortably he can just stand there and relax. So that's what I'm looking for. And then I put a bowline knot in this rope, and I'm gonna use the part that's attached to the horse. Oh, and by the way, a heavy snap is necessary here, something that can swivel, because if it can't swivel, they're just going to walk around, and next thing you know, they'll be right up there. Their nose will be touching that limb if you don't have a swivel in the lead rope to do this. So it is imperative. It needs to be a good structured snap, though, that if they do pull on it, chance of it breaking is pretty slim. So getting back to the knot. So I take that rope here, the one that is tied to the snap, and I twist it like that. I just did a clockwise twist right there and formed this eye. I call that like the Christian fish symbol. See it right there? There would be the eye of the fish, and there's the fins. So then I stick the tail of this rope through that eye, and there's a couple different ways you can do this. I can come over and make a loop like this and bring it down, and that one you can pull on this to get it undone. However, this particular horse he's notorious for untying himself, so I'm going to tie him with just a straight bowline knot without that loop in there. So I'll do that again. I'll show you how to tie that knot. So I take this and form that eye right there. Stick the tail of the rope through the eye, pull the slack out, take it up over the fins, and then back through the eye. And then pull it where it's not gonna come loose. Now with this particular horse, I'm gonna just do a couple half hitches above that eye, and put it up there to where he can't fidget with it. Now, the thing that you have to remember when you do this is don't come rescue them out of it. If they're hollering and pawing and carrying on, let them holler and paw and carry on. Because that's what they're going to do if you try to ride them away from their buddies. So what they're doing is they're working out that anxiety themselves, and they're finding out that it's futile to do that, and it's better to get quiet. So that's the purpose behind this. I like to do it, tie these horses where they can't see one another. That tends to bring the anxiety out in them more. They can hear one another. You can hear that horse nickering up there probably. They can hear that as well, and it's going to cause them to start wanting to look around like that. So the purpose behind this is twofold. They're holding a horse for us. The trees are holding a horse for us while we're not riding them, of course, but they're also in training in the process, and it really does a lot for them mentally, and it's a tremendous tool. If a horse has a tremendous amount of anxiety, you might find you want to leave them there. People ask me, how long should you leave them? As long as it takes. Now you have to take them off and feed and water them. You got to take care of them, but you take them off, feed and water them, let them get, and then put them right back on. If they're still wavering and thoughting and carrying around, tie him back up. Let him work that out. Take him off, feed and water, and put him back on there. I call that doing guard duty. And when they get the point that they're wasting their energy, they're doing way more than they need to do, that standing here quiet is the best deal, then take them off and put them up, do whatever you want to do. That's going to help you, it's going to keep you safe, and you're going to provide for a happier horse, because a quiet horse is a happy horse. So one more time, I'll show you how to do this knot, because it's what I do when I have a horse that I'm pretty sure would untie himself if I wasn't right there with him. So that to undo this knot, you just push that back up in there, take it on out, and it comes out real easy. The nice thing about a bowline knot is that it can pull tight, and you can still get it undone. So I'm going to put that eye in there, stick the tail of the rope through the eye, pull it down there, pull it up there a little bit snug, go over the fins, back through the eye, and pull it down snug, and then I'll just do a half hitch or two. You don't have to do this half hitch. I'm doing this for this particular horse, that's all. He can do whatever he needs to do now, and he'll be back when we come. The nice thing about this particular limb is it's got a little bit of sway in it. You don't always have that luxury. This is a God-made limb here just for tying horses. I think it's the right height, it's the right distance away from the tree, and you can just look for something. There's probably something like that in your area, and if not, well, you can maybe make some kind of a tie like that sometime that would really be beneficial for you. So anyway, that'll do it for today. Thank you.